come in to CosmereTok. The exhibitor hall's opening. Some people are taking lunch. There's a very, very popular panel down the way. So we really appreciate you coming here. First, let's have everyone introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Malinda. My handle is that Cosmere chick. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Ashley. I am Stormlight Beams.
Hi, I'm Emily, also known as But You Could Be Fire.
I'm Ammon, and I run ADHD projects.
And I'm Peter, and I'm Cosmere Consider.
And I'm Octavia. I am the social media coordinator for Dragonsteel in the region. So thank you for coming out. We're very excited to start this. Okay, let's start with hi. Sorry. Do you have a chair? Do you need a chair? Sorry, it's really crowded down there, you guys. Hi, I'm Darci Cole. I write young adult fantasy, sort of fairy tale retellings. And I am not like a CosmereTok talker, I guess, but I love all of these people. I've done a few like Paladin cosplays, but mostly my TikTok account is like my book though. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I love all of these amazing people, and I'm super happy to be involved. There will be some TikTok videos, and if you prefer to stay behind the scenes, that's okay too. Great, let's start. So we'll kind of just go down the line, and everyone can answer this question. So why did you start posting on TikTok? I'm curious, how many of you are on TikTok? Okay, awesome, very cool. And so why did you start posting on TikTok?
So first off, it was the pandemic, and I was bored.
Hey! Yes, Katie's here!
Okay, first pass it down so she can introduce herself. Oh yes, let's do that.
This is like a G party.
I know.
I'm Katie Payne. I'm a fake CosmereToker. These are the real ones. I post on Instagram, and I met them through TikTok. They're the stars.
She has a lot of really cool art that she didn't say that.
Tell them your handle.
It's Art of Katie Payne. I do a lot of Cosmere fan. You've probably seen it, maybe. I hope so. That would be cool if you've seen it.
Let's start down there.
Yes.
So, Katie, the question is, why did you start posting on TikTok?
Well, yeah, TikTok specifically, I post on Instagram, and I had for about a whole year, and then I thought, hey, I just made a video, why don't I post it on TikTok? So I did, and then it's really strange because Instagram, you get a certain amount of viewers, and you think maybe that's what that video was worth. But then on TikTok, I posted one that got like 400 on Instagram, and then on TikTok, it got 200,000. So it's, I don't know if it's like a gamble or something, what the causation was. But from there, I got enough followers to be able to go live, and so I've gone live with these people, and it's awesome. The engagement on TikTok is different and very cool.
So I started on TikTok mostly as like a lurker, I was just like scrolling and liking things. And I was really so this was before I started publishing my books, I guess. I was really into like the cosplay community on TikTok, and so I started doing some Paladin cosplays. It was like a femme Paladin, so I had my hair down and I drew the brands in eyeliner on my forehead. And so, and eventually, like, I put my Bridge 4 hoodie on as well and, like, made him kind of emo, and it was great. And I also have a good friend, Lindsay Luther, who she's Tuckerized as Lynn the Bridge 4 guard. She does an amazing Adolin cosplay, and so she would duet my paladin stuff as Adolin. It was fantastic. Anyway, and then I started posting about my book. So, but that's kind of my TikTok journey, I guess.
I'm probably different than the rest of these people because I posted on Instagram a lot, and that was a lot of fun. And then my wife, who's a social media manager, said, "Hey, Instagram is dying. You should get on TikTok." And so I did that, and here we are.
So I started as a lurker on TikTok too at the beginning of the pandemic, and then I started getting into like 3D printing groups, and so I started posting a lot with 3D printing. Decided that I hated flat earthers, and so I started doing flat earth debunking, and it's about that same time that I started seeing a lot of Stormlight memes pop up. I'm like, Cosmere's cool. So I switched between 3D printing, flat earth debunking, and Cosmere, and it's just kind of, that's why my name is nondescript on what I do, because I do everything, so.
Alright, so I got on TikTok 2 years ago, and there were no Cosmere accounts, except there were exactly 2 cosplayers, and I was like it. And I had been like lurking on a bunch of different social media and was loving the memes over there. I was like, we really need to bring that to this app. And so I originally started my account with the thought of like, okay, I'm gonna start making memes and stuff, and either someone's gonna see this and be inspired, and then they're gonna make memes that I can enjoy, or they're gonna see the stuff I make and they'll be like, ha, I could do so much better than that. And then they'll start making memes that I can enjoy. And now here we are 2 years later.
It works.
It works.
I, much like what you've heard, I was a lurker for a while. I originally downloaded TikTok like as kind of a, I'm a millennial, we'll see what's going on with this thing. And then I spent like 8 hours a day on TikTok. And I had just finished rereading the Stormlight archive for like the 4th time. And so it was living rent-free in my head, and every time I came to a new sound, I was like, that reminds me of this scene. And then finally I just kind of decided to go ahead and make that. I think the first one that I did was to this sound. It was from a reality show, and it was somebody saying, "Woo, this is nice. It doesn't smell like roaches or nothing." And I did that to Bridge 4 finally getting into real military barracks. And I was like, okay, I feel really good. I think 4 people saw that, and I was like, this is my audience. It's a nice creative outlet, and if something goes well, then great. If it doesn't, at least you got to laugh at your own stuff, so that's how it feels.
Yeah, and for me, it was peak pandemic, and I didn't have a whole lot to do, and I saw Emily and Ashley both posting on TikTok, and I said, no way, this is Brandon Sanderson's stuff. I love his stuff. And I had recently become obsessed with books, and I kind of thought to myself, I can do this too, and make funny jokes and talk about theories, and yeah, that was the birth of that.
A part of my hiring process was me saying, y'all need to get on TikTok.
You said that. So is Ashley.
There's Adam. So I was super excited to start the TikTok, and originally I planned to just make a Dragonsteel TikTok, and then I showed it to Brandon, and he said, I want to be on there too. So we did that as well, and yeah, it's going great. So now we have Brandon's TikTok, which I help him edit and film and caption and all that. And then we have Dragonsteel's, which I'm hoping to get one today with all of you. So which will be a lot more humorous and behind the scenes. So that kind of takes us into our next question. What has been your favorite trend on within the fandom on TikTok?
So first, I just have to say, we all collectively lost our minds the day that you and Brandon joined TikTok, so thank you for instigating that.
It was a fantastic day.
Yes. Anyway, but my favorite trend has been cosplaying Brandon, and a t-shirt and blazer and glasses, and that's been a joy.
I think one thing I always enjoy is when I will see a bunch of people tagging me in some random video. Like there's a thing on TikTok where there are giant horses. And I get so many people either DMing or tagging me saying, Rashadium. That's all they say is Rashadium. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with this, but it makes me smile.
This is mine. It was a silly idea like a year and 8 months ago, and now it's like actually filtering like a lot of cool stuff. So
She also made the filter.
She did.
So.
yeah, that was a lot of fun to make actually.
So mine is the Brandon Sanderson cosplay too, but specifically the chain that we made when he's like, "Hi, I am Brandon Sanderson," and we all like pop in with our Brandon Sanderson cosplays. We were up late at night because he posted it like super late. We were all tagging each other, trying to get this chain going as long as we can. If any of you guys are on TikTok and not part of that chain, find one of our accounts and duet that video because it's definitely there.
The challenge has been issued.
I think mine was one I was most scared to do. I was like, no one's going to think this is funny. It's a really dumb idea. And the thing people were like, we're in a tornado and then we lock eyes and the music slows and you're supposed to like go into slow motion. So I did one with a box on my head and it's like, we're doing a bridge run and we lock eyes. There's a wall there. I like that one the most because a lot of people saw it.
I do love the cosplaying of Brandon Sanderson. One of my favorites, favorite TikToks in general, was the first one that I saw of Ashley's. It was the mocha caramel latte chino, make my criminal, the way for you know it. It was my favorite. It still is my favorite of yours. I think my favorite trend that I've done. There's a sound bite of Sherlock and Watson from the BBC Sherlock. He's like, I just met a friend of yours. Friend? An enemy? Oh, which one? And I did that as a beta reader to Sanderson. And it's still one of my favorites.
My favorite one, I know Ashley, you did this one. I don't even know what this is called, but this one. And then it's this little person dancing. It's my favorite one. Who did we do that one for? Was it the Depression, Paladin himself? And we had the sticky note, and she was like, still like Paladin.
Oh, we're gonna keep it down here.
Yeah.
Do you want the mic or do you want to shout the next?
I can shout. I can project. So because of the ever-growing reach of social media, how do you see the fandom growing in the next few years on TikTok?
On TikTok specifically?
Yes. Yes. Specifically with the adaptations happening.
I mean, that's just going to magnify everything. And when I look at TikTok, I think young people, I don't know, I think that the more activity for Cosmere there is on TikTok, it means more young people are being reached, which is a really important engagement to have.
For sure. You mentioned the adaptations coming hopefully soon. I really think, that makes me think of as soon as we have actual sound bites, you know what I mean? Because there are some accounts that'll use the audiobook sounds and stuff, and you can do TikToks to stuff like that. But I think if we have actual actors, saying the lines and doing the things, and we're gonna take a serious moment and make it hilarious, right? But then there's just gonna be so much opportunity for more content, So I can't wait for that.
I don't know what to say.
You can skip.
Yeah, so definitely with the adaptations, but it makes content come to the general people, because before with YouTube and the podcasts, it took a lot of effort to make video content or stuff where you can just get up and share your opinion. But with TikTok, it's easy. It takes 10 minutes to make a video. So as the fandom grows, we're going to see a whole lot more just people making their opinion videos, breakdowns of books or of trailers and things like that. So I'm excited to see just kind of a general, growth of CosmereTok or book talk.
Yeah, I think we should start theory talk. Listen, we've been trying.
I know.
For a long time.
I love it.
I started off with theories.
Actually, those TikToks don't do well.
Actually, your theories are hypnotizing. I'll just be like, oh my gosh, she might be right about that. And that. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so all of you need to go find all the theory videos and like them and like just let them play.
That's true.
Then we'll make more.
Yeah, I think especially if we have any sort of adaptation news coming our way at any point in the near future, I think honestly a lot of like what the Percy Jackson fandom has been getting themselves into is going to be what we're going to see a lot of, because they had like, I've seen kind of like this like waxing and waning of the Percy Jackson fandom over the years. Almost like I did that on purpose. But just the fact that like they had their last couple of like Trials of Apollo books, and then the fandom just kind of like quieted down and was just kind of simmering there for a little bit, and then like half of my feed has been Percy Jackson stuff recently. Because they've been looking forward to their show. So, I mean, we've already seen, like, I think CosmereTok doubled within the past, like, 6 months. So,
It used to be all girls, and now we've got all these guys here.
Mission 2.
Well, no, Jeremy too, but he's not yet.
Yeah.
and there's a couple who just
Oh, poor Jeremy. Almost poor Jeremy. Sorry, Jeremy.
So a couple of things that I'm looking forward to, and I'm kind of looking at Katie over there rather specifically, but fan art on TikTok is incredible. And so I love seeing, and I'm very excited by, really high quality fan art to some really jamming music. And when we get more adaptations, we'll see even more of that, and that excites me. The other thing is that from the TikTok side, they're expanding their technological developments, and I'm looking forward to video game playthroughs and watching video gamers, especially as, and I don't know, I'm just basing this on the State of the Sanderson where he was talking about a Mistborn video game adaptation. I would love to see people playing that. So that's just kind of twofold as adaptations come out.
And I don't know, just doing some of the math, it looks like it's going to be another 20 years until Brandon writes the last Stormlight Archive book. It's going to take a while, but I'm really excited, and I really hope that the fandom grows to like Harry Potter status. It is a household name, and we have streamers playing playthroughs of games, you know, and just being able to interact with so many more people online about all these books that we love so much, and I'm excited to see that grow.
Awesome, thanks guys. And y'all talked about this a little bit before, you mentioned some other fandoms. So out of all the fandoms out there, because I know y'all are fans of lots of different things, but why, this is it, just Brandon. Out of all the fandoms, why the Cosmere?
Like I kind of mentioned previously, I used to be a huge Potterhead and kind of outgrew that because of, you know, stuff. And anyway, but I just really appreciate, you know, the way that Brandon is at the helm of this fandom, and I feel like he's doing things the right way, and that is something that I can get behind, and hence why I want to make content about his books, you know, and help other people to read them and experience this wonderful, you know, universe that he's created.
I think that one thing that pulls people like us to these books is just how relatable it is. Like, you can always find at least one character that you go, I know how that feels, or I know what that situation feels like. And that's kind of the same way with memes. Like, one of the reasons why memes is so, like, they're so popular is because you can apply them to different things. And so for me, it was this relatable content makes me think of this relatable content, therefore this. And I haven't found that same kind of mixture with any other fandom. I just gravitate towards these things. And so it just kind of becomes this weird video that other people say, I like that too, for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the hyperfixation is not, you do not choose the hyperfixation, the hyperfixation chooses you. But yeah, I mean, I picked up Way of Kings in high school and was hooked. Originally, I was looking for a book that would, last me more than a day. But then it was just something that I really enjoyed, and I wanted, more people to know about it and be able to obsess over it like I had. So, and it seemed like, especially, why Cosmere TikTok, it seemed like there weren't a lot of people, making stuff for the Cosmere, and it felt like, all the other fandoms I was a part of were just so, saturated with people who are already, so funny and doing amazing stuff, and I was like, I want to support your channel, but I just, Cosmere was the one where I felt like I could make something and, be proud of it, so.
Lack of toxicity. Sorry. Especially with the Wheel of Time and Rings of Power shows coming out, there's been a lot of toxicity within the fan base itself. And I haven't really found that within Cosmere, unless you like Moash and want him to be redeemed. But there's just, even with, if there's something that we disagree on, we don't argue about, we discuss it, but we don't get into the toxic fan base. And I hope that as we progress and get some adaptations, or as we grow bigger, that we can keep this camaraderie and come together with just liking the Cosmere, as opposed to hating other people because it's not what we personally envisioned.
I think for me,
Here.
So I think for me, so I think the biggest thing was I'd been a part of a lot of different fandoms over the years, and I had seen a lot of that toxicity, but also a fair amount of darkness and grimdark stuff, and that is a lot rarer in Sanderson's writings. And I think because the writings themselves are a bit cleaner, the fan base is the same. There's a little less of that darkness. And for me, reading The Way of Kings for the first time and going to my wife and being like, I have seasonal affective disorder. And I read this book about it, and there's magic in it, but I sat down with a friend of mine who's a counselor, and we made a few YouTube videos about diagnosing Kelsier and Kaladin and what their mental health problems are. And that was just a lot of growth for me, and then I just continued to love it. So
I have so many thoughts on this. So regarding the toxicity that you mentioned, right? I think that the Sanderson fandom has grown slowly enough over the years that the fan spaces have learned how to manage themselves in such a way that we have amazing moderators, we have amazing trustworthy people who are nope, this is taking it too far, we're going to shut that down, right? On the Facebook groups, on 17th Shard, on Reddit, I know a lot of those moderators and they're amazing people. So I think we have that going for us as far as the toxicity, right? The fandom is going to grow when it gets adaptations. That's a given. And there are going to be people who try to troll and tug on those strings or whatever. But I hope, fingers crossed, that we have prepared for that. You know what I mean? And as far as why the Cosmere, for me, being a writer, I was introduced to Brandon relatively as a young writer. I had just kind of started working on my stuff. And so I got to know him not only as an author, but as a teacher, right? I've never taken his classes, but I've watched them on YouTube. I've listened to Writing Excuses. I've learned a ton from him. And then I had the amazing blessing to be invited onto the beta team in 2015. And so I've been doing that. I've been associated with Dragonsteel for a while, and just the attitude, it's everything about what he does has a sense of hope to it, has a sense of positivity, and I absolutely love that. And I think that's one of the main things that draws so many people in, both to the books and to him as a person, right? And it's like, that's the kind of author I aspire to be personally. So that's what,
Yeah, I've just been really passionate about Brandon's books. I first fell madly in love 10 years ago, and it's just been a huge part of my life since then. But why why am I up here right now? Why, it's like, yeah, that is a good question, why? And I think yes, but also it takes a huge amount of constant love to be, paddling the water, you know what I mean? So, and it's like, why? And I think it was ultimately what fired me up more is the fan. Because the fan interactions I've had, seriously, it's with you guys, the fan interactions that I've had one-on-one, I'm like, dude, you guys, I love you guys, I love them. Eli and Michelle. Oh, you're wearing the shirts! I didn't even know you were wearing the shirt when I said that. They were wearing the Katie Pays Everyone's fan shirt. Anyway, I just love you guys, and when people view a video, like a video, I try not to see a number, I try to see that was a person. Yeah, and yeah. You guys are amazing.
Yeah.
I'll just shout the next question. How do y'all deal with toxic fans? Have you encountered any, or maybe we shouldn't say lump them into fans, maybe just toxic TikTok spam trolls?
Because that's usually what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's social media rule. I follow people that teach you how to engage your social media, and they say just don't respond. I mean, there's always going to be a troll. It's the internet. It's okay. It doesn't. Yeah, it's fine.
I think Emily said yesterday, use the not interested button liberally, right? Use that, and the block button and the delete button. And that's the thing that these moderators on all of these forums, we want to give people the freedom to, my husband is a moderator on one of the Facebook groups, and so it's you want to give people the freedom to be able to talk and discuss and have a conversation about these things, and we can disagree, and that's okay, as long as everybody's being respectful, right? As soon as it turns to name calling or something like that, no, you're done. You know what I mean? And having people that you trust, and you yourself, on your own platforms, being able to have that discernment, right, to know when to cut something off, I think is super important being on the internet.
I usually do two things. Both things are ill-advised. One is I respond. And two is that I keep responding, and then I delete it all. No, I think, so the big thing is, on TikTok, you have a maximum of 3 minutes, unless TikTok likes you enough to give you 10-minute videos.
Don't make a 10-minute
No one watches a 10-minute video.
Brandon wants to make a 10-minute video so
If Brandon made a 10-minute video, he'd be fine. He has enough to write about. That would be fine with him. I'm just, no. But if someone says something toxic in my comments, often I'll be like, however many characters in a comment is not enough to have this conversation. If you would post a reply, like do a stitch of my video, which is good for the algorithm, but then I can also take 3 minutes and be like, hey, I hear what you're saying. That's understandable that you don't like that about the books. It is kind of, there's a problem there. That can be a line for you. And everyone has a reason for why they think or say what they think or say. Sometimes it's just to be rude, but you never know someone's story and why something in particular is upsetting or triggering to them. And so I just try to remember the human in every troll.
This answer changes depending on what video it's on. Because I do a lot of flat earthing stuff, I actually will argue with them. And
Flat Earth debunking.
Debunking. I debunk the flat earthers. So I do a lot of arguing in the comments with them, but I don't let it devolve into name calling. I argue with people on Facebook all the time about Wheel of Time and adaptations, but I think that those are healthy arguments as long as they don't devolve into, well, you're just a terrible person. But with the Cosmere videos, I don't like to argue as much as just talk about what our opinions are. So if someone wants to go the way of, well, your mother is a troll, then those aren't welcome, and I will.
I mean, that's kind of funny.
So don't always engage, but engagement is good to have a healthy conversation. But when they're in there just trolling, there's just no use in doing it. So don't.
Keep in mind how many spoons you have, like how much mental and emotional energy you have. If you don't have the energy that particular day to engage politely with somebody, just don't, right? But like, I think that you make a very good point about like, it is important to remember we're all talking to humans, right? We're talking to other people who have cares and lives, and yeah.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to not get a ton of like trolls. Mostly it'll be like joking Sillidan shippers. I really hope they're joking. We all hope they are. But like for that, as long if it's something like, oh yeah, I bet Sil and Kaladin are gonna get together at the end, like obviously there's gonna be a different level of communication with that than like someone who's, making fun of Kaladin's depression. So like Sillidan shippers, I have several audios saved, ready to go to respond to that. Which I have done recently. There's been a couple times where I'm like, I actually kind of hope someone comments that soon because this is a funny audio. But there's definitely been like, there is a point where it's just, yeah, we're just going to use the block button and we're going to use the not interested button on this particular video. And I honestly have not gotten too many. I think I've been kind of flying under the radar because I'm still pretty small. But
a few people have mentioned the block button, and I feel like when you're engaging with other people and you have this sense of like, I have to engage in this this argument. I once saw a TikTok creator tell other TikTok creators, the block button is actually to protect you from yourself too. Because sometimes you can feel yourself getting into that space. That block button is to make sure that you don't engage with that person anymore, and sometimes you need that. Because at the end of the day, like I just had this yesterday, please don't go try to find this conversation. There was somebody who was lighting up my comments with some just really, like, it was personal attacks, it was just not great, and I responded not well. And I was not in the right mental capacity or emotional space to handle this delicately. And it was also very opinion-based. And so at the end of the day, I had to block them, but I also recognized that it wasn't like a sense of defeat. It was also because I could not do this anymore. And so the block button is there for you, and it's not like giving in or losing the argument. It is literally just there for protection. And the other part is there are two types of responses. It can either be, and I've had people who have had, it starts as trolling, but my response is to a very factual part that they've gotten wrong. And I'm not necessarily responding to them, it's more of educating other people who might see that comment and take away a very wrong misunderstanding. And so as long as your approach is recognizing that other people can benefit from some education, then that is a healthy way of generating something from that. Devolving into arguments, devolving into name calling, nobody wins at the end of the day. Like you walk away from that feeling very gross about yourself. Not that I would ever know what that's like. And the other part is that sometimes you do have to stand up for yourself. I think that especially us three right here, we've definitely gotten comments, safe hand comments. And at first it sounds really funny. Like if that's the part of the joke, if that's the video, like, but you could be fired. Emily did a fantastically hilarious video where that was the point. It was the stay fan that was supposed to be scandalous.
Stay fan thirst traps.
Those are totally fine because you're in on the joke, but when it's just one of us who is standing and talking to the audience about our opinions and somebody says, is that your safe hand? That actually feels gross as a woman, because that's them now looking at a part of your body and drawing that. Yeah, it's an attention thing. And I made a video saying, please don't take fictional misogyny and apply that to real life.
We have enough misogyny.
Yes, we don't want to add to it. And so it's when you're taking it for positive output, I think that's when it can be engaged in. But when it's just a do punch for punch, it's just not worth it.
My toxic trait is that TikTok used to have a pin function, and every time someone would do a negative comment, like I had someone comment that Brandon Sanderson was a bigot, and they just went off on this whole tangent, and I pinned that comment, and then everyone saw it, and everyone went to town on that guy, and it was kind of fun watching it, and that's my toxic trait.
We call that the pin of shame.
The pin of shame. But I also mess with the bowl on a regular basis because, let's be clear, I am not a Moash apologist, but I do want him to have a redemption arc, which is a very hot take that no one agrees with, and it's fine. No one agrees. Anyway, I've actually had some really great conversations about it, which is fun, but most of the time I get F Moash in my comments, which I just delete and block because no one needs that.
Thank you, and I just want to say I'm so glad you guys are on TikTok and you let yourself be vulnerable and put yourself out there, because I know that is terrifying, but luckily the fandom is awesome. And something I asked when I was hired on, how do you deal with trolls, and every brand has a different means of dealing with them, and one of the things someone casually mentioned was, well, really, we don't have to respond to a ton because the fans do it for, like, they stand up for Brandon, they stand up for Dragonsteel, and they have the accurate information to give people if they're wanting to learn more, and if they're not, then we can't convince those people anyway. So it's really fun to be a part of a fandom that protects each other that way, and it feels a little bit like Bridge 4. You know, we get work together. So and how do you guys come up with video ideas? Are you reading the book and think that would be a great TikTok, or do you see a TikTok trend and think, I know that part of the book would be perfect for this?
So I have a note on my phone when I'm, listening to the audiobooks and a part comes along and I said, oh, I forgot that Wax does this, like we need to make a joke about this. And then also, like, I'll be scrolling through TikTok and I'll see a funny sound and I'll save it, and make a video later.
Yeah, part of it is kind of twofold. I'll be scrolling through TikTok because that's like 85% of my day. And when I come to a sound that I think has the potential, I will save it for later. But sometimes they just land in my lap and I go, I don't care what I'm doing right now at this moment, I have to make a video right now. And some of them are very easy, like anything that says the word stick, like, you have to jump on that when you can, because otherwise somebody else is really fast. Things that involve fire, things that involve if it has metal, like somebody any time that a video mentions aluminum or whatever, like those are just easy grabs. So half the time it's finding sounds that just immediately spark a memory of something that I read in a book or one of the Cosmere books. But other times I really do want to capture a scene, and so I will go hunting for the right sound, or I will just have to create a skit based on that. So those are the two. I would say most of the time it's I find a sound, it sounds hilarious, I'm going to jump on it.
Yeah, my process is pretty close to the same. It's scroll through, find good sounds. Sometimes I'll make them immediately. A lot of times if it's something that I'm going to use a cosplay for, it just goes into my saved sounds, which I've got like 290 of right now. And I clear them out after I use them. But honestly, cat videos have some of the best sounds, especially for different things with like Spren.
So my process is generally I'm scrolling through TikTok and have a really great idea and then put it off, and then I'll see one of these guys do that idea and then be sent. But yeah, it generally comes from scrolling through TikTok because I like to look for trends to do videos off of. Because I've read the Cosmere several times, I can think back to parts of it with whatever audio. I'm just sitting right here. I thought of a really good video that I might do. I won't tell you because you're gonna steal it.
I'm lucky. My wife is a social media manager, so she sends me a daily trend. So that's really useful. But then at the same time, I also credit Hank Green for saying, every time I have an idea, I used to get afraid that as soon as I used it, it would be my last great idea and I'd never have a good one. And I've realized now the more things I create, the more good ideas I have. So anytime I have an idea, I just start working on it. And so I think I have like 37 drafted TikToks that I'm like, maybe I'll finish that someday. And I don't tend to think things through. I'm like, this is a good idea, and I do it and get 2 views, and I'm like, that's fine. And then I'll be like, this will be really dumb, and it'll get 100,000 views. And so you just kind of have to be weird, and that's okay.
Like honestly, TikTok is kind of a numbers game anyway, because the algorithm is just so unpredictable in some ways. Like unless you have a huge audience already, it's hit or miss. For me, I post far less consistently than everybody else up here. I think I post when I can. I have 4 children at home, and I have a lot of my own mental health struggles and things, and so I do what I can when I have the energy to do it. I also save sounds when I see them and when I find them funny, and then I get to it when I get to it. So social media should be fun. That's my take.
Sometimes I feel like a very confused person because I am an illustrator and I should be posting art, and then I'm posting meme videos. Why? But then sometimes, I'm scrolling and they're so freaking funny, some of the trends. Like, did you guys see this one? With like dodging. That one, all of them was, I was screaming. It was so funny. It's just, I guess, another interest I have is funny videos. I want to be a part of it. And so it becomes Cosmere because that's my content. So.
That's a very different.
Please, somebody do that.
Someone needs to do that trend with Elokar and Moe. I just wanted to say also, you have to do what TikTok wants you to. And so if there's an ad for something and you can think of anything that goes with the sound from that paid ad, they're going to boost it for you because they want that sound to go out.
See, I just type it on and just every single ad.
Well, thank you guys so much. We wanted to leave some time to make some TikToks. So that's the real fun part. I appreciate the real, yes. But that's what we all love doing, is making TikTok videos, consuming TikTok videos, spending 8 hours a day watching TikTok videos. So we will we'll kind of divide, and does anyone want, we should start maybe with a big group one. If you want to be involved, let's start with a large group one.
Okay, so we had the idea for our group video is The Office sound, and it's Dwight saying, "Do you want to make an alliance with me?"
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, I do.
Good, excellent. There was another one, the stick one. There's literally just a song where it's somebody going stick, 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 stick. If you guys are cool with it, I'd like to record where all we're doing is just bobbing to stick, 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 stick. Is that okay? Is that okay? I've seen more nods than anything. Okay, are we using
Run now.
Yes, I'll record it. I'll record it.
Okay.
And also, thank you guys for coming. I know we so appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you. Are you playing the song?
Yeah, I can just get as loud as possible. Because my phone is better.
And I will. And I will.
Are we doing the?
Okay, what are we doing?
Are we doing the?
Bobbing the stick.
Let's bob this stick. Let's bob this stick.
Hold the mic up to the sound so everybody can hear it.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. Sorry, I can do this. I can do this.
You got this.
And then I'll point at you guys.
Standing or sitting or like?
Just sitting. Yeah. So here's what the sound is. This is literally all it is. That's it. Okay. Here we go. And I'm going to just pan the audience, okay? All right, ready? Okay, here we go. Oh, sorry. Was that your first TikTok that you've been in?
Should we do the Yes, and then I have what I want to do with
Okay.
So what is their response? What are they saying?
Okay, so here's the sound.
Do you want to form an alliance with me? Absolutely, I do.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna have you guys stand up. So we're gonna record us doing the do you want to form an alliance with me, and then all you guys will be absolutely I do.
Are you going to come back to us for the good and the next one? Yeah.
All right.
You want to stand up on the chair to like get
So
it
you
right?
should do it. Yeah. There we go.
Okay, ready? Someone say it with Dwight's voice.
Just here. I'll just do the
Wait, so we can.
All right.
Do the timer.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna count down because it's gonna be obnoxious if I try and not mess up. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Do you want to form an alliance with me? Absolutely, I
Okay. You're going to like the last slide. Okay, so hang on. So here's the sound. Oh no, wait, that's not the sound. Wait. No. It's not a sound, you guys. Oh no. Wait, what sound is this? So hang on. Let me turn my volume up and see if I can play it. You know what? I can just play it on the mic and then you guys can do it.
There you go.
Because it's got like a background sound. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So here's what it is.
I like Cosmere.
I like that.
That's all I have to say. So it has a background. Okay, so and stand in front of these guys. Okay. Yeah.
Do we need a squat up to you? No, I think everyone can stand. And I'm going to show this one to Brandon. Oh no, wait, where is it?
Yeah, remind us what the sound is.
like to talk mayhem.
But wait, if I can edit it later, so we can say, so y'all can say it, and everyone nod in the background. Yeah, okay.
We're just gonna say I like to talk mayhem.
Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
I like to cause mayhem.
Everybody nod. Hey, thanks guys.